I've had 3 or 4 incredible deals, and I missed out on one that I was absolutely gutted to, which is a... Hey guys, welcome to One More Turn, the video game collecting channel. My name's Darren, and as you can see from the background, we're going to be talking about Switch games today. I've pillaged through my pickups in December, and almost all of them, in my opinion, are going to be potentially collectible in the future. So I thought I'd run through them all, why I think they're going to be collectible, what I paid for them, and yeah, just try and give you guys some ideas for what might be worth picking up. While I do look for nostalgic titles, things like your PS2, PS3, and even the new gen stuff like your PS4, PS5, my main focus is on the titles that will gain money in the future, the stuff that people will want to collect and could be rare in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time. Let's kick things off with one of my favourite games of all time on the Switch, and that is Fire Emblem 3 Houses. This is possibly one of the most popular titles on the Switch. It's a turn-based RPG, and the story is fantastic. You get really invested in the characters, and I think that's why it's so popular. I also got the follow-on from it, which is 3 Hopes, and then we've got Engage coming out this month as well, which I'd highly recommend picking up. I think I paid £25 for 3 Houses. That was on Facebook Marketplace, so a bargain for that. £35 from CEX with vouchers that didn't cost me anything for this one. Other one that I couldn't help but get because I love the series so much is Fire Emblem 3 Hopes Special Edition. The one just behind me here. That cost me £75. Now it's quite a lot of money for a special edition that I'm never going to open. It's fully sealed in the box, but it does include some figures, some cards. I think it's also got a map cloth, an art book, all sorts of lovely bits and pieces. And if you go off 3 Houses Collector's Edition, I think that was brought out in something like 2019, retailed at about £80 or £90, probably £90 I think. It now goes for £150 to £160 on eBay. So if 3 Hopes goes anywhere near that, then there's got to be profit in it. And I think Engage, with it possibly being the last of the series on the Switch for Fire Emblem, and it being arguably the best game based on what the reviewers are saying at the moment, I think that could go for serious cash. So I'd recommend that game because it's actually due out on pre-order at the end of this month, end of January. So definitely consider getting that. I'm an elite member with Game, so actually for me, I think that game ends up costing more like £85, which I think's a bargain because it's guaranteed to go £100 surely in the next year, in my opinion anyway. Moving on to numbskull titles, we've got AI Somnium Files. This is like an investigating type title. It's got some puzzles in there, quite RPG based. Very futuristic, and I've heard lots of good things, really good reviews. It's the sort of title that is a little bit niche and do tend to gain value in the future. I paid £30 for this from CEX, so not exactly cheap, but again, I do think that that could go up. Now, one thing that I am almost certain is going to go up in value is the follow-on from that, but the collector's edition, that being the AI Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative collector's edition. It's all sealed in box there, so I can't pull anything out to show you, but it comes with a figure, a soundtrack on CD, and an art book. I paid, after my discount and my points back, with the game collection. That's a company in Wales that are online, worth checking out, very cheap on some titles, and the point system's quite good. I paid about £70 after I get my points back for that. And again, I think that's a sort of collector's edition with the amount it's got in the box and how popular the game could be, where it could actually be worth quite a bit of money in the future. And now moving on to some Koei Techno games. Now these guys don't release titles very often, but when they do and they get it right, their best games go for serious money once the print run runs out. I'm holding one right here. That is Attack on Titan 2, A.O.T, or if you're searching for it, A.O.T 2. Final Battle, that's not what this is just 2, but Final Battle version of this goes for £60 on CEX and a lot more on eBay. There's no way that's what it cost when it first came out. I paid £40 for this one, but I can fetch about £48 on eBay already. A.O.T titles, they fly through the roof. So I'm expecting this to continue climbing in value going forward into the future. And then I actually found another title, which is Warriors Orochi Ultimate. It was only £22 when I got this in CEX. I think it's up to about £30 now already. So well worth picking up. And onto a slightly different title, Streets of Rage 4. Now this was very popular back around the Sega Mega Drive sort of era, and they've basically brought it back with updated graphics, better gameplay. It's just a fantastic title. The main reason I picked this up though is because it was £22 in CEX, which I thought was a steal as it is, but it's the anniversary edition. So if you see the anniversary edition lying around in CEX anywhere, guys, pick it up, because I think the anniversary edition with the extra content it's got on the cart, I think that will be worth some good money in the future for a game that's so popular with the retro nerds. And moving on to 2 different types of titles. The first one is Astral Chain. I paid just shy of £30 for this one, which is quite a lot of money for a newish Switch game. But it's one of those ones that's very popular, that's kind of gone a little bit under the radar as well. Particularly in like the police force in the future, Earth is about to be destroyed by these aliens, but they manage to somehow control the aliens so that you can actually use them with this collar around the neck. It's really hard to explain, but the graphics on this game for the Switch are exceptional. What they've managed to do with this, with the underpowered system with this game, is amazing, guys, seriously. So I'd highly recommend picking this up. I can't see this not going up in value in a couple of years' time. And a strange one that I picked up is Wargroove Deluxe Edition. This was only £6 when I got it in CEX, or it might have been £8 possibly. I cannot see this game not going up from that in the future, so it just seemed like balmy not to pick it up. It also, as far as I'm aware, had a slightly limited print run, so we'll see what happens with the value of that, but for the price it's well worth putting a bit of investment towards. Likewise, a similar type of game, more popular, is Eastward. I paid £24.99 for this. It's still sealed. I'm going to keep it sealed. So yeah, I can't say I know an awful lot about the game. Again, I believe it was one that had a limited print run. It's the I Am 8-bit makers, so I think that one is going to go up in the future as well and be potentially collectible. Now this one, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, the complete edition, it's a Bandai title, and Bandai, as we know, tend to hold their value quite well with all consoles, so well worth looking into. This is kind of Bandai's equivalent to Pokemon. Very popular with some people. Some people will only play this and prefer it over the Pokemon series. I've never tried it before myself. The reason I had to pick this up is because I got it for a £5. This one goes for more like 25 quid, sometimes even more, and that's actually gone up. It was only 20 quid it was going for at the time I managed to get it for a £5. Again, Digimon titles, Bandai title, it's just got everything going for it to be a potentially collectible game in the future. And another title I think will do quite well is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This is fully sealed. I got it from Game. It was £22, I think, just after Christmas. And this one actually comes with a keyring and a booklet inside, which is a quite nice little addition. Could be seen as a bit of a collector's item. Obviously, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will always be a collectible series, very, very popular with the retro gamers, and they've done such an incredible job with this game. Highly recommend getting that, even if it's just to play it, but again, I'm expecting that to go up in value in the future, as is the case for Rune Factory 4 Special Edition. It's more of a farming sim, something I don't know an awful lot about, but it's like a JRPG. Again, just the type of title it's going to go up. I paid £17 for this on eBay, so that just seemed like an absolute no-brainer. Okay, we're moving into the big hitters now, guys. These are the ones that, out of all the titles I've been talking about so far, I think could do the best. So let's start with Death End RE Quest 2. Other than being a bit of a mouthful and a weird title, it's a very dark title. I paid £28, so not exactly cheap, but there's only a couple of these in CEX, so very hard to come by already. And talking of hard to come by, you can't beat a super rare title. I've left this sealed. I'm not going to be opening it. It's got a nice little sticker in the back, some cards, it's got the booklet inside. It's a lovely addition. For those who don't know, super rare games literally are what they say on the tin. They make super rare games. This one had a print run of 4,000 games only. They're releasing them every single month, not this game, various different titles. There's quite a few that already go for massive money. I know this one goes on CEX for £50. I paid 37 from super rare games. Now, the only thing you need to be careful with super rare games is to make sure that you're not just buying any old title. It needs to be one that is going to be fairly popular. They're the sort of games, the ones where they are limited to a very small print run, where they could really go up in value. Some games that I think are just dead certs to do well in the future are Square Enix as a publisher. Fantastic, probably one of my favourites. In all honesty, they do the Dragon Quest series, which is something I highly recommend, but because I didn't pick it up in December, we can't talk about it today. But one title that is worth getting, that I got, is Octopath Traveler. We've got Octopath Traveler 2 coming out this year, 2023. That's going to be another one well worth getting. I paid £35 for this from CEX with vouchers, possibly slightly overpaid for it, but it cost me out because I generally trade to get vouchers so that the collection doesn't cost me anything. So I'm not too fussed, in all honesty. I still think I'll go above that in the future. And one of my favourite games, which I think's gone under the radar from Square Enix because of all the other fantastic titles I do, is the DioFIELD Chronicle. Because I was trying to get my Fire Emblem fix after finishing 3 houses, I was searching for similar games. This one kept coming up, so I thought, sod it, I'll give it a go. 25 quid from game, and I have to say, it's an amazing title. I'm actually enjoying it more than I am Fire Emblem. I think the reason it goes under the radar a little bit is because the graphics leave a little bit wanting, and it's probably more enjoyed on the PS4. Arguably, because of the graphics and also because of the load times, it can be a little bit slow at times. However, I love the fact that it's also portable on the Switch, which is why I think it's going to be very collectible on the Switch, because it's the type of game people would like to play if they go on holiday or as they're travelling around. So that's one to look out for, the DioFIELD Chronicle. Then I've got 2 games from the same series. The first one is, and there's a bit of a mark on there, which is annoying, The World Ends With You Final Remix. This is the first of the 2 games. Now, I got it for I think $22 or $23.99 on Vinted, which is like eBay but more of a fashion-based website. I'd recommend having a look on there, guys. You'd be surprised how many games come up that are quite good. I got a cracking deal. It actually goes for 40 quid from CEX, and that's actually why I bought its sequel, The World Ends With You Neo, because this is up at £40 and there's no prints, original prints left of it, and it's £40 in CX. This one I got sealed. There's still prints coming out of this as we speak, and like I say, I think I got this one as well for something like $24.99. That's still what it's valued at, but as soon as those print runs finish, I think that's going to start soaring up in price as well. Moving on to another of my favourite publishers, that is Atlus. There's loads of Atlus games I could talk about on the Switch that are going to be potentially collectible in the future, but we're talking about the biggest one today, which is Persona 5 Royal. This has been put down as arguably one of the best games ever brought out on the Switch, the one that maximises its potential in terms of graphics and utilising the lack of power. There's so much gameplay in this, hundreds, well, more than 100 hours worth if you want to do all the side quests. Persona 5, just Persona in general, is a massive deal. It tends to be produced in big numbers, but even despite that, in the very far future, the games tend to go up quite a bit in value as well, only if it's the ones that are the most popular, which this definitely will be, so I'd highly recommend getting this. The reason I got it when I did is it was £32 on offer in game, which brings it below £30 with my Elite membership points, because I get a little bit back, 10%. It's worth signing up to that, by the way, guys, if you haven't done already. Atlus Persona 5 Royale, worth getting. And another one, Catherine Full Body. This is complete with manual. I got this on eBay. I can't remember how much I paid for it. It was $25.99. It's a really peculiar title. As you can tell, a little bit saucy in some areas. Just by looking on the back, you can, I'm sorry if it's glaring a little bit here, you can see it's a bit of a puzzle game as well, and I've heard a lot of really good things about it. It's just a sort of quirky A9 type title that could go for good money in the future. And then let's move on to the Pokemon series. Now you're all probably rolling your eyes here going, well duh, of course some of that's going to go up in value. But I want to go through my December pickups here, because the first one I got is Pokemon Shield. I got this because it was £20 on Facebook Marketplace, and it came with the official guidebook, which I think is a snap. I can't see this going below 20 quid on its own in the future, let alone with the guidebook. And it's always worth picking up the Pokemon games once they start to drop in value, because you never know at what point they're going to start going up. You look at some of the 3DS games, which are going for 60 odd quid now. It's definitely worth the investment. And Pokemon Shield, as well as Pokemon Sword, were two of the more popular ones. Talk of the devil, I've also got Pokemon Sword. I got this, excuse me, I got this from somebody on Vinted. Not on its own, I got it with Pikachu, Let's Go Pikachu, which is probably one of the most popular ones as well, because this is a remake of the original red, blue and yellow on the original Game Boy. It's a remake, but in 3D, far better graphics, and they've changed up the gameplay a little bit. So that one is very popular. It tends to go for more like 30 quid. That one's more like 25 at the moment, but both could go up in the future. I got both of these on Vinted for £14 combined. Don't know what that seller was thinking. Clearly didn't know the value of the games. I literally snapped it up the second I found it. I've had 3 or 4 incredible deals, and I missed out on one that I was absolutely gutted to, which is Atelier Riser 2. That game goes for upwards of £60. Oh, no. I had someone selling it for 25 and I missed it by like a second. So yeah, not bitter about that at all. Stepping up to another publisher that always seems to go up in value in the future, and that is NIS America. I picked up Disgaea 6, Defiance of Destiny. This one I think was something like £16. £16 for any Switch game is a very good price, let alone one that could potentially increase in value. The Disgaea series is fairly popular, even though it is quite cheap. One that is going up in value, and that's the Wise series. That's YS. Anyone doesn't know much about them, any Wise games that you find at a reasonable price, pick them up on any console. They are so popular, it's ridiculous. They're an RPG, JRPG, turn-based, and they're actually really enjoyable. I've got IX Monstrum Nox, which is Wise 9, I think. In all honesty, I can't really afford most of the Wise titles because they're already ludicrously priced. This one I found for £30 on eBay. I got very lucky, snatched it up as soon as I saw it. I expect that to go up in the future like the other Wise titles do. And then the final one from NIS America is Crystar. I paid a lot of money for this. It's sealed in the box. I think I paid £37, so one of the second most expensive title that's not a limited, a collector's edition. But this game, from what I've been told and heard from other people, is incredible. With it also been an NIS title, a JRPG, it's got all those components to make it extremely collectible in the future. And it's quite a dark title as well. They always tend to go for good money. Moving on to the final pickups in December, and we've got one called Death's Door, which is by a publisher called Devolver, not one I've heard of before. From what I've been told, this had a limited print run, anything with a limited print run is bound to have a very good chance of going up, so I picked it up for 24 quid while it was on offer from Amazon. This is still sealed in the box, it's going to stay that way. It's a bit of a dungeon crawler, not really my sort of game, but I'm going to leave that in the collection, hope it goes up in value. I also got Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, same thing again, it's sealed from Amazon in the box, $17.99. I couldn't turn that down, and yeah, it's a bit of a farming hack and slash mixture, so I think that could do quite well, quite a quirky little title. And then the final one that we're going to talk about, guys, is Neversong. I took a punt on this one. I aren't so sure this is going to be that collectible in the future, the game on its own, but the collector's edition could be. It's got some cards in there. It's even got the score as well. It's got the CD soundtrack, so it's quite a few nice little touches, and it was only £26 on Amazon. For any collector's edition, I think that's a must buy. Okay, that's all of my Switch pickups for December. I couldn't even get my PS4, PS5, 3 and 2 titles in there because it would have been here for days. I bought an awful lot of stuff in December because I managed to get an awful lot of deals done with flipping and trading due to Christmas. Unfortunately, things are going to slow down now, so I won't be able to do as much. You guys got any questions about what we've spoken about, and specifically any recommendations yourselves? Jump down in the comments, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because in the near future I'm going to look at pulling together quite a long video explaining how I built my gaming collection, which you can't see all of it, but there's about £5,200 worth in total, and that's real value, that's not a fake figure, all accumulated for absolutely nothing, for free. So I'm going to explain how I did that in 5 months and the deals that made it happen, so that you guys can hopefully try and take something away from that as well. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all next one. See you later.